Today marks 1 year since the eruption of the civil war in Sudan. Fighting between the Sudanese armed forces and the Rapid Support Forces has claimed thousands of lives since and displaced more than 8 million people and triggered the world's largest hunger crisis, according to the UN. And a year in, it would seem there is no end in sight to this. Let's talk to Mary Louise Eagleton, who's Deputy Representative for UNICEF Sudan. Thank you for talking to us, Mary Louise. It just sounds horrific for the people of Sudan. What a year.
Yeah, this morning, Sudan's 24 million children are waking up after 1 year of being in a living nightmare, only to find that that living nightmare is continuing. There are over 4 million children who have fled with their families from their homes in Khartoum, Darfur, Kordofan, and conflict hotspots around the world. That's 8.5 million people. I was speaking to someone yesterday from New Zealand. That's more than the entire population of New Zealand or Switzerland or London. And they've been living this for 1 year now.
So what conditions are they living in? Talk us through what it's like. 8 million people displaced.
So first of all, they fled very quickly with really strong violence and rape and looting that happened in the early days of the war, and then subsequent waves of fighting. So they left everything behind. They lost everything they own. They often lost friends or family members, and now they're living without jobs, without resources to pay for food. No schools have been open across the country. That's almost 19 million children out of school, except for a few small cases. And healthcare, only 70% of hospitals are not functioning in areas with conflict. Very little access to healthcare, and compounded with people living in displacement camps and settlement sites where the conditions are very overcrowded. There's poor sanitation, little access to clean water that's ripe for disease outbreaks. So we have cholera, we have measles, and other critical diseases that are killing children every day.
And is there any sign that this civil war could come to an end? What's being done to try and bring that to an end?
It only is getting worse day by day. So the two parties in this war are very dug in and very determined, and that is having massive consequences on the population. So it's creating this lethal combination of displacement, hunger, and disease outbreaks, where now we have almost 4 million children with malnutrition, 730,000 of them with the severest form, where if they don't get immediate assistance and treatment, they could die. So we're not seeing an improvement at all. In fact, things are getting worse and worse every day. Fighting is intensifying. And this is really worrying as the lean season is coming up in the country, where we are predicting that if there isn't an immediate solution in the coming weeks, that there could be a famine in Sudan.
So really there needs to be an international response to this, would you say? Because it's extremely dangerous. It's hard for aid organisations to operate, isn't it, in Sudan?
So there are lots of ongoing efforts, but there needs to be a concerted, coordinated effort to bring the parties to the table, to bring an end to this war, to have an immediate ceasefire, and at the same time be securing humanitarian corridors so we can access the populations who need the critical humanitarian aid urgently. Today in Paris, there's a conference that is looking at the humanitarian situation. Countries from around the world are coming together to try to find ways to improve it. But the overall humanitarian appeal is only 6% funded for Sudan, which even when we can reach children, the funds aren't there to be able to bring the critical aid to support them.
Mary Louise Eagleton from UNICEF Sudan, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you for reporting on Sudan.